Greetings, listeners. Your host for the night, Zach, here again, introducing you to another episode of The Call, our Call of Cthulhu actual playcast. We're waiting for a few merch items to show up on the Ko-fi page, so apologies if for now all you see are stickers. We'll be keeping that page open forever now as long as there are items, and as we get new items, we'll announce them and put them there. On top of that, we have a full merch shop on our website with shirts, mugs, and sweaters. This week, we also begin our first World Building Wednesdays on Twitch at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, so follow us there at twitch.tv/twistedgearstudios. You'll also stream on Fridays, 3 to 6 p.m., and Q&A streams on Sundays from 3 to 6 p.m. as well. To support this and other projects we have in the pipe, please head over to our Ko-fi page and help us get more things on the go and more items in the Ko-fi exclusive shop. You can even subscribe and grant sanity to your favorite investigators.
The previous report from our investigators. They have slain the beast. Now our investigators deal with the aftermath of the damage and the toll that its attack had on the house and themselves.
So it seems that you all managed to get multiple hours of just rest and relaxation. Okay? Although, Agatha, from time to time, every few hours, you're woken up by Cadbury,
Okay.
who comes in and cleans out the wound in your eye.
Right.
Because it literally is a gaping hole,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it seems, and also something else. It seems that it's almost like cauterized inside, so it's almost like it doesn't need. It can stay. There's something weird about it where it literally is just a hole.
But it's still weeping, like doing the.
No,
blood? No, not at all.
Not anymore. It's just sort of like a blackened husk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Okay.
sometimes you'd seal it up and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you probably still will, but it's completely up to you at that point. You could hide stuff in there. Maybe a bullet or two hidden for your precious Lee Enfield.
Just don't go looking near
Yeah.
a fire.
Yeah.
That's what the eye patch is for. It's just to cover the whole spare change.
There's a tinier Lee Enfield.
No.
It's-
Little mini cannon that's in there.
You can't take it out. You just open the eye patch and look at someone. Bang.
There's something wrong with you guys.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
there
we'll
is.
continue. But I mean, it just other than that, everyone, and you've earned your rest. It's been quite a hectic couple of days or longer. Time is a river. I mean, that's just the way it goes, and everyone just shaking their heads. Fair enough. Fair enough.
There he goes again.
Okay, so I'm just gonna jump ahead and have you all sort of meet up at the breakfast ballroom after a fair amount of time, probably 18 hours.
I would actually say that when everyone gathers in the breakfast ballroom, Amos would not be there.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And I have also a question too. I now have no eye. Would that hinder my constitution or anything like that?
No. There are a couple of mechanical things until you adjust to it.
Okay.
For example, you will take a penalty die on shooting
Yes.
because you don't
that
have
makes
any depth perception.
Right.
Some people listening may come in and say, no. But mechanically, there needs to be just for a short period of time as you get used to it.
No,
but,
it makes sense because I literally got an eye pulled out of my
well,
head.
but
so-
and the other thing is, I'm sort of, even though it might be against the Cthulhu philosophy, what happened to you was ultimately a really good, important thing.
Right.
So I want to reward your character for getting out of the fog that was sort of, that franticness that was sort of putting into you.
Mm-hmm.
So if I give you a permanent, like, debuff, it's sort of like, oh, so I'm just trading one thing for the other. So no, just be a penalty die on the Lee Enfield shots. And maybe a couple of other things might come up, but I doubt it.
Okay.
I am not putting a penalty on spot hidden because I want you to make as many of those as possible.
God damn it.
Right?
Right. Makes sense.
Spot hidden. It's really the keeper's skill.
Son
It's
of a
great.
bitch.
Okay, so I'm just going to have Marion, Althea, and Agatha meet up at the breakfast ballroom. You're all well rested, cleaned up, fresh clothes, and such.
I'm wondering if Althea would feel like actually well rested.
Yeah. You why wouldn't you feel well rested?
Well, I'm just saying that this house is a very different place for me than it has been for the majority of my life.
But see, this is the weird thing, and I believe I've said this a long time ago. You still feel really comfortable in this house.
I know,
You
it's-
have the feeling that you're safe here. You just do. You want...
Even though the walls tried to eat me.
The walls didn't try to eat you.
But that was in like
That wasn't the walls.
sewer. That was the sewer.
That wasn't the wall.
That wasn't
was
even
something
part.
else.
That wasn't even part of the house.
I was just about to say, was that necessary? You don't actually know how far you went.
It was angry poop. Just don't walk in angry poop. You're fine.
Angry.
As
poop.
opposed to happy poop.
That's a Cthulhu.
Hey, it tried to kill you, so
That's fair.
I'm gonna go with angry poop.
All right. Okay. So, mechanically speaking, I'm assuming I have this one missing hit point back. Then.
Actually, how injured are people?
I do believe we did gain our health at the end. You did calculate that, so I am down 1 hit point because I still would be suffering from pain from my eye.
Yeah. So I think what we had dealt was that we dealt with all the health regeneration from rest before we ended.
Yeah.
The only outlier was that there was a special theme asked me to make a note that I'm back to full health, and that that would be a thing.
Yeah. You
Sorry, guys.
while you're sleeping, every now and then you're woken up because your muscles are hurting, and then you realize it's not your muscles that are hurting at times, just your body in general is aching. But then you remember your body is inside is smashed. Remember? Mm-hmm. Like you were thrown out of a window from a few stories up, crashed through a car, and the only thing keeping you alive was, you know, the blood bond, the soul bond that you have with Simon. Hopefully this was brought up.
No, this is fine.
no,
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but that's why I mean that you've returned to full. Specifically, your body regenerates itself. So, like, if you had a broken arm, it might be fine the next day, but it's not really fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if this ever goes away and all these injuries just pile on at once, you're just gonna fall into. You ever seen Resident Evil? You know that room where it's like, ugh.
Did he turn into a bunch of watermelon pieces? He did.
Yeah. Keep that in mind. Awesome. This is still Cthulhu.
I hope that doesn't end anytime soon.
Yeah, but that's why I brought that up to you.
Yep. Nope, that makes sense.
Yeah. But your body still aches. It's not perfect. Right? You like Jelly Man.
Is Simon at breakfast?
No, I'm just gonna have only the three of you are there at breakfast with some nameless servants serving food.
Nameless.
Bringing food back. Yeah, back and forth. They're not really gonna use their dining room for a bit, probably.
That's fine. That makes sense.
Yeah, they can use one of the other dining rooms.
Jesus.
Well, I mean.
Now this is getting ridiculous.
They can use the lunch dining room instead of their
The
dining
breakfast ballroom?
Yeah.
And you have the dining room?
And then I have the dining room.
It's funny because I always just refer to it as the breakfast ballroom simply because I don't recall you guys ever sitting down and eating another meal.
Nope.
Because it's like going to eat something to get me through the day, and then the day turns to hell, then the day turns into 3 days.
And then we just come back and we're like, I need sleep.
And what do you want when you wake up from sleep? Breakfast.
That's a good point.
It's actually how I am with every game I run. Breakfast is all important, and no other meal ever comes up.
Intermittent fasting. That's how we're all in shape. With Amos.
You're not in shape.
I'm not in shape.
You're A shape.
I am what would happen if you crossed a human with a pear. And
Okay.
so is Amos.
Yeah. That's not how I imagine Amos. Okay, so, Marion, Althea, and Agatha,
Yeah.
you're all sitting down. There's a spread laid out. So you can be picking out whatever you want. Is there anything you would like to talk about or anything else?
So I'm gonna kind of be awkwardly looking back and forth between the other two, trying to decide which one to ask first if they're feeling okay. And it's going to be.
She rolls a dice.
Yep. Althea, how are you this morning? Are you much recovered?
I think I believe so. I'm still, a little bit tired, but I think that might be more mental exhaustion really than physical. I've slept pretty well, and over the last few nights, however much time has passed.
Time is a river.
Okay. I slept very well in the river. I was thinking that there are a couple things that I should probably look into, in things that I'm involved in outside of our investigations, as it were.
Anything you need assistance with?
I don't think so. It's nothing that would take me very long. I want to write up a letter to that police officer's family, and I also need to stop by my...
I need to write a letter to that policeman's family.
I want to write a letter to that police officer's family, and follow up on that.
Is he all right? You were taking him to the hospital.
When I left there, they said that he would make a recovery. I just assumed there would be some medical bills and things that would come out of that I wanted to take care of for his family. But I haven't touched in with my society that I sponsor either, so I should probably touch base with the ladies there as well.
That makes sense. I'm concerned about the man who we brought back, who the body that was harboring those creatures, the slugs that kind of glance at the nameless servants and it's like what attacked us. Do we know anything about where he came from? Why he was robbing the house? What?
So at the mention of slugs, because of the incident, I'm going to probably just stand up and say, "Excuse me," and I'm actually going to go and try and find Amos.
Okay, so I'm going to just stop there, Breakfast Barn, for a second, because I need to know what Amos has been doing instead of going to breakfast.
How many bottles of whiskey can he have access to?
A lot. There's a lot of whiskey here.
He's into his second bottle.
Okay.
Sorry.
Second bottle. Can you roll me a
I will suffer any...
hard constitution check?
That's fair. I will suffer any complication that comes from this, because thematically makes 61 out of 40. It's a fail.
Okay, fair enough. You're feeling pretty good.
No.
You are in, you ever see The Shining? You're in that, it's sort of like the ballroom with the big bar.
Nice.
And there's a nameless servant who is serving you drinks, and you're
Please.
just sitting at the...
It's Frank.
Frank? Okay, so Frank. Okay. Frank is serving you drinks, and you're like, leave the bottle, and you're just drinking down. Fair enough. So I'll get back to Agatha and Amos in a minute.
Okay.
As I can go back to Althea and Marion still at breakfast.
I'm just going back to my notes, trying to remember what that house was. Was that when we went to that house? That was the Silver Twilight Lodge house, or was that Heinrich's house?
That was Heinrich's house. You have not went to the Silver Twilight.
The body that we had was the body that was from the rooftop that Amos
Right.
had given chase to.
That we
That-
thought
From
was
Heinrich.
That we thought was
thought was
Skeets. Okay, because I know that there was a dead guy at Heinrich's house, but we didn't take him with us.
No, the only body we brought back was what we assumed was Skeet until
Yeah.
we saw Skeet here, and then we had a bit of a conversation before the staff started screaming about the possibility of it being Ulrich Fannin, as
Yeah.
Skeet said that him and his cousin were talking in the treehouse the night before he joined us on the Heinrich
And we know they
excursion.
look similar. Did Skeets see the body ever?
The burnt body?
Yeah,
'Cause-
the before it was burnt.
Well, it was burnt.
Oh yeah, because he set himself on fire.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
burnt
Yeah.
there.
Did
Because he was around the lab.
yeah
Now,
Right.
technically, Skeet, if Skeet's to be believed, never came with us at all.
yeah
Yeah.
exactly. But did he see the body?
Well, he's seen the burnt body
He's
in
seen
the
the
lab
burnt
because
body,
he
but-
was
Okay.
he did come down. Yeah.
Okay.
Beyond that, I'm not there.
Do we have any other information about Ulrich Fannin? Is there? I'm wondering if that's an area to an avenue to pursue. Why would he have been shooting at us?
I don't know. The only thing I can think of is that he was somehow connected to Heinrich and everything else that's been going on. Or the weirdness, or just... I mean, really, we don't know anything about this Ulrich Fannin outside of the fact that he is Skeet's cousin, I guess. And that he was very good at pretending to be a businessman and swindling a lot of people.
And presumably reasonably good at pretending to be Skeet.
It would seem so.
No, something else that I'm going to... actually, could you roll me an idea roll?
Okay.
I believe that's just a straight knowledge roll.
Yep.
I got 100% out of 70.
Oh my god!
Wait. You rolled...
A 00.
She did.
Oh my god, 100% out of 70 when it came to something to do with Ulrich Fannin. You seem to recall...
Oh no!
You're not sure where this information came from.
That's it.
But Ulrich Fannin was somewhat of a banker or in investments on Wall Street. And apparently, somewhere along the ways, you think he bought property outside of town?
There was a connection
We're going to Korea.
between Ulrich and the Silver Twilight Lodge.
When we were originally talking about him, I remember us trying to find out who he was. You know, that he had been an investment banker, businessman, whatever. That turned out he wasn't. But do you remember seeing anything along those lines? I feel like we came across information that he had purchased some kind of property outside Boston.
I don't recall a lot of the research that we did on Ulrich himself, but we were looking up some mysteriously acquired property outside of Boston. There was a connection with Walter Corbett and the Silver Twilight Lodge.
Oh yes, Walter Corbett.
There was a couple of mysterious connections between Skeets Ulrich and Walter Corbett as well. Really, the last avenue that we haven't pursued is the Silver Twilight Lodge. If that is the property that Ulrich was purchasing or is close to, that would be... I'm leaping at connections here. There's just... things have been happening so rapidly and nothing seems to add up.
Marion, could you make me an idea roll, please?
You should see my red yarn map I got going here, but I'm drunk right now, so I'm useless.
That is a 13 out of 65.
Dope!
Okay, so you do seem to recall that one of the connections was... I mean, this probably came up a long time ago. Was that Ulrich Fannin had some connection to the Church of Contemplation.
Right.
That was a connection there. Something else with that idea roll you realize is that the Silver Twilight Lodge and the location that's supposed to be in is not outside of Boston. It's in Boston. It just appeared sort of out of nowhere in an area around 30 minutes drive away.
Jesus.
The Church of Contemplation, that's the church we went to find that book.
Yes.
That was and that where Althea was captured. That's
outside.
That's outside of Boston, yeah. So that property itself is what Ulrich purchased, or we think it's
I have
connected.
no
We don't
idea.
know.
Yeah, that's just whatever information you guys have.
Yeah.
Well played.
I'm gonna have to go back through my book a lot.
I just got to throw you down a bit of a wrong path here sometimes, eh?
This yarn map is ridiculous.
I'm just going to move over now to Agatha, who, as you're wandering around for a few minutes looking for Amos, you come across a servant. What was the word I was using before?
Nameless.
Staff.
The staff.
Staff, yes. Just gotta stop saying that. Yeah, you come across one of the house staff, who informs you that the last, as far as they know, Amos is still at the bar.
Oh.
And he has been there for a while.
Oh.
So as you head to the bar, you see Amos sort of sitting down in a chair, a little bit tipsy.
Rocking in the chair.
A little bit. And continue.
Mr. Milton?
Hey, Agatha.
How are you doing?
How are you doing?
I'm surprisingly doing, okay. It's something to adjust to.
It doesn't hurt? Like,
Well, Cadbury came every once in a while and helped me out there throughout the night. So.
Good man. Scary. Good man.
Wow. Isn't it a little bit early to start drinking today?
You know, my buddy Bill used to say it's 5 o'clock somewhere, so.
Was Billy an alcoholic?
Depends on the case.
Fair enough. Okay, well, what time is it actually in the morning? Is it in the morning?
It is in the morning. You've pretty much been out for a day, like 18 hours, give or take. Timeline continuity. I'm going to say it's now the morning. Probably 8:30. Fairly early in the day. Yeah.
All right. You know what? Maybe we should be drinking some coffee and getting some breakfast. What do you say?
That's a
Bacon.
great idea.
Yeah, bacon is always a great thing.
For it.
Perfect.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna grab him like from under the arm like a friend does in the hopes of
Like a friend does. I was just thinking the other day, walking down the road with a buddy of mine, a hand under the arm. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying.
Anyway, I just want because I'm pretty sure he needs more support than
Yeah.
but
Can you roll me a psychoanalysis roll, please?
psychoanalysis.
Yeah, I'm going to use this over psychology just because of you're an alienist. and
30 out of 65. So
Nice.
that's actually
I'll give you a tick in that anyway. Basically, you realize that he's a bit tipsy. He's feeling good. He's not hammered.
Oh, okay. So he's just like kind of like okay.
Yeah. He's
Good.
he's on his way to getting hammered.
Right.
You notice there's around a 3/4 full bottle, and when you first walked in, you realize, oh, that's not a lot. Till Frank, the staff bartender, sort of raises up out from under an empty bottle and points at it with his eyes wide, and then puts it back down under.
Yeah.
Man,
And
never
then
heard of
feels
snitches
embarrassed.
get stitches, huh?
Right. So I'm thinking breakfast is a good idea. Let's go get some breakfast, okay?
Yeah, it's a great idea.
And everybody's up. Everybody's up and waiting. So let's go, bud.
Waiting
and
for
just,
what?
I don't know. I don't know. I'd rather stay home, but it's fine.
All right. So what you gonna? Maybe I shouldn't ask. Is it eye
what
patch? You going with an eye patch?
I can't put a glass eye in there.
I mean, it would look a little odd, maybe. but-
Maybe I'll put an 8-ball, like from a pool table.
So like you lucky 8-ball? Is that? Am I gonna start calling you 8-ball? I'll call you 8-ball if you want me to call you 8-ball.
I have to see what the fit's like. I'll have to ask about the deliveries. But I'm just joking around, obviously, with him because he's feeling really good about himself, right?
If I will
So-
call you 8-ball if that is what you want.
Fantastic. All right, let's go get some breakfast.
Perfect.
So,
Okay. So when you leave the bar, Amos, I'm assuming you leave the bottle of liquor.
Yeah, it's a cordial conversation. I'm not too. I'm distracting them from the liquor. Yes.
So something disturbing happens to you. I'm saying it's disturbing because I know how Amos is going to react to it.
Okay.
Is as you're walking to the breakfast ballroom, you've maybe stopped drinking for only 5 minutes. You sober up immediately.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
Yeah, like you realize that in order to actually get drunk, you need to be continuously drinking, or whatever's going on with you stops you from being drunk.
Yep, that makes sense.
So you literally would have to drown yourself.
Take me back! No, I'm kidding.
Ah, nobody can see what I'm doing. Okay.
All right, so then I'll just
And then the sadness sets in. Cool. We're at the breakfast ballroom. So, Althea.
Amos, Agatha.
Morning.
Look who's decided to join us.
Morning.
How are you guys this morning? How are you?
I'm doing surprisingly okay. I mean, considering, but
You do seem upbeat.
yeah, I mean, it's weird adjustment, but I mean, it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. So
What? If you don't mind me asking, I didn't actually see what happened.
would I have a concept of what happened, or he saw everything? You saw everything, so you probably
Yeah, I
are the
saw
ones that-
everything.
so you probably should be the one explaining, because I just know that my eye was torn out of my head.
I'm looking at Agatha when I,
I was gonna
ask.
say, I'm
so-
not
yeah.
immediately answering unless I'm given a hint from
All
Agatha
right,
to answer
so
on your behalf.
I'm gonna kind of. I'll have a general idea, which is,
You do. You do have a general idea.
So, what? Oh, see, I don't remember what the monster was because I was in a blind rage.
Yeah, actually, like I believe I had described, was that your memory
Yeah.
of that whole blind rage and that situation is gone. Like, you don't have that memory. So you just know that your eye was plucked out of your head, and I don't believe the last time we played that it was explained because everyone was so exhausted.
Yep.
Oh, great! Role-playing time! Go at it! Go at it!
I'm going to assume the monster. Would I have known he took it out of my eye? Took my eye out?
You'd known that you feel a lot better headspace-wise. Which is weird because your eye was torn out.
No, but I mean, do I know? Yeah, I know he was the one who pulled my eye out, or would I not
Amos.
know that?
I would say yes, memory-wise, you would know because Amos isn't hiding it.
No.
Right.
I
Okay.
wouldn't
And
even
as an
think of that.
alienist and being really good with psychology and psychoanalysis, you would just pick up on the fact that whatever happened. Amos did it, and it had to be done, but that's the extent of what you know.
Okay, fair enough. All right, that's good to know. All right. So, in answer to your question, Marianne, I don't actually remember what happened. Whatever happened had to happen is the only feeling I'm left with, and that
Oh.
Amos was the one who aided me. But that's all I can recall.
Was it one of those slugs? Simon was saying there were hundreds of them.
I defer this to Amos because I would also like to have an explanation because I'm quite confused.
Right. No, it wasn't. It wasn't one of the slugs. It, you know that black shit that comes out of the slugs and is usually around the slugs. So a black ichor.
Yes, definitely. Ichor would be the preferable term.
Yeah. I mean, I just always thought it was like a trick of the light or something. But there's sometimes it looks like it fucking moves on its own.
That it can't move on its own. It's,
Yeah, excellent point, and I kind of want to just go with that point. Except this black ichor, I think it was when we were shooting the big fucker. It splashed some of that black ichor on her, and
You're talking about the house with Father O'Malley?
no,
No.
No, that
this
wasn't
was
the
in
monster.
the staff ballroom.
It wasn't. It was
No,
the
no.
house with
Okay.
Father O'Malley.
Okay, so the house with the monster in the basement shot stuff.
Yeah, but that was
That was the first time.
That was the first time.
Yeah. The instance upon which I was pulling.
Oh, yes.
Because that was
Oh, I
free-
see
that was
what
free
you're
the second
talking
time.
about. Okay.
yeah.
I don't know about Amos doesn't know about the first time.
Right.
Okay.
He only knows about
My
the time.
apologies. I was
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah, continue.
Yeah, you get sprayed with black ichor a lot.
That doesn't sound good
That
at
sounded
all.
way better in my head. Name of my memoir. All right. So yeah, no, I was. She was distraught, and I was trying to calm her down. I was wiping her face off of all the gawk that gone on her, and then it started crawling into her eye. So grabbed it like you grab anything that's going where it shouldn't. I tried to pull it off of her face, and fucking eye came with.
You're saying the ichor, the ooze ate away at her eye, like an acid?
I'm not even sure if this is gonna make sense. There wasn't a lot of it on her. There was a very little amount of this gunk on you. But when I started pulling it, it was almost as if there was more of it behind her eye, or maybe more of it got in there that I didn't grab, or I wasn't seeing straight because there was a bunch of other crap going on. But yeah, no, maybe it ate her eye. Sorry, that might be a little too straight to the point, but I pulled this thing crawling out of your eye out, and it took the eye with. I'm sorry.
Goodness. How... we've all been splattered or splashed in some way by that. Well, any of us could have been affected.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
You say you feel different now?
At this point,
is there any way to know if one of us is? Is there to know that he got it all?
At this point, because now I know what happened, I'm probably going to feel really sick right now because I was taken over by a parasite, essentially, and didn't know that.
Yeah, looks like it.
So, probably gonna throw up. I'm not gonna lie to you. Probably going to be.
Can you make me
Yeah.
a Constitution check?
Sure.
Straight up.
78 out of 70.
So yeah, you probably throw up part of breakfast you've already eaten.
Yep.
You can run with that as you will.
I'm probably going to barf all along the side of the chair that nobody's occupying. That's probably what I'll end up doing.
I'll pat her on the back.
So something also happens is as you turn over to the side and you throw up all over the chair, you sort of see movement.
No.
And Simon, moving really quietly as he does, is sort of standing a little bit behind you, and nobody's really seen him coming because everyone's just been engrossed in this new information. And he has like a plate of food.
Oh no.
And it looks like he was just about to sit in that chair. And he's just, so on top of feeling sick with everything, now you get to feel embarrassed.
Nah, could have been worse. Could have been Alistair.
Yeah, but he sort of looks down and he's like, ugh. Yeah, I'm just gonna, and he sort of he lays his plate on the table and takes the chair and sort of like flicks it away. And just grabs another chair and sticks it down and sits down.
I'm gonna grab a
starts
napkin
eating.
and get up and run over to Agatha. Like, oh, quick, let's get you cleaned up.
I'm just gonna take the napkin and just because I'm pretty sure I did not projectile vomit on myself. I just did it on the chair.
No.
Here, do you need?
That would even be more embarrassing.
Do you need to run to a washroom? Do you need to?
I need a glass of water if you could.
Okay, I'm get her a glass of water.
And coffee. Yep.
I grab 2 cups of coffee, bottle of whiskey, put a cup.
Well, there isn't a bottle of whiskey in here.
It's the breakfast
breakfast.
ballroom.
People don't have whiskey. Well, I can't say that.
All right, fine.
You can always
I grab-
ask one of the staff.
I'll grab 2 cups of coffee. I'll make a.
You have your flask.
Oh, right. I'll grab the 2 cups of coffee. I'll put one in front of Agatha, one in front of me, and I'll take out the flask and I'll kind of just, make a.
I don't know. Sure. I'm gonna just look at him and be like, what?
Pour some whiskey into her coffee and more into mine, and then there you go.
Okay.
At breakfast, I don't think she needs that right now.
I'm gonna take it because I have that bile taste in my mouth. I'm just gonna take a big swish it around and gulp it because I'd rather that.
Clearly, not necessarily the case.
Are you sure? If you're feeling ill, I don't know if that'll help.
I just need a moment. I just need a moment. I just need a moment. And I'm just gonna just stand there just bewildered and also just have no idea what's going on.
And then Simon, who's now sitting down, eating, and he's sort of drinking like apple juice. And I mean, it's because it's impossible to get orange juice in this place.
It is.
Yeah.
Like it's not even brought out anymore. It's
He's
just
always
taken.
the first one to get up.
It's just well yeah. Skeet's always he sleeps all day, he's up all night. But Simon is just sort of like drinking some apple juice, and he looks over at everyone seems to be a little bit
Messed up.
and he looks at Agatha and he goes, you look pretty good with one eye.
What?
Yeah, I mean, like, held together, right?
What?
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. It's just an eye. Useless things.
Okay.
From certain perspectives.
Yeah.
Or drink the rest of the coffee.
Yeah, I'm just,
Althea.
if it just ignores Simon. He goes back to
Oh
eating.
no, I'll be coming back to Simon.
Oh, we go back to you.
Because I'm assuming I just have bandages over from Cadbury's.
You actually, right now, the hole, the socket, there's, like, gauze and stuff inside the socket.
Yeah, so it's not just
And there's a patch.
Yeah, okay.
There's actually, like, a patch, fairly large, like an eye patch. But it's
so
fairly
not a
large.
medical patch?
No, it is a medical patch.
Okay.
But it's not like it's not dressing wrapped around your head.
Right,
It's just held. The dressing is held in by this patch,
right.
and it's got a fairly tight, and it's knotted.
Oh.
So it isn't like elastic. It is like knotted, but it's
Althea, I don't know if you would have anything, but if I'm to go into public, do you have anything that is an eye patch that's a little bit more stylish isn't the word, but less medical looking?
Skin toned?
Oh.
Not skin tone.
Oh, I might have something actually.
If it's possible.
Hang on, give me one moment, and I'm just gonna get up and leave.
yeah. Because I was about to
a
say
second.
right now, I say eye patch, and everyone automatically goes to a black eye patch. It's not black. It's like white.
Yeah, no, I know
Yeah,
exactly
yeah,
what you're talking
yeah.
about. No, I know.
Yeah.
It's just
Okay. After like however long it takes me to walk through this house to go where I'm going and
But
come
where
back.
are you going?
I'm going to go to
The basement to the
no.
theater.
No.
hey, they have a costume shop. No, I don't know.
I go to the bedroom, you end up in the theater. I go to the kitchen, you end up in the theater.
I'm going to go to one of the rooms where a lot of family stuff is just kept in storage or whatever.
Yeah, there's a variety of rooms for
Yeah,
that. but-
yeah. So I'll go into one and I'm going to dig something out and I'll come back to the dining room.
But what are you looking for?
I'm going to pull out a leather eye patch.
A leather eye patch.
A brown leather eye patch.
Okay.
Oof.
So
If I can.
No. So
No.
no, just let me explain.
Okay.
As you're wandering around thinking, oh, maybe there's one dug around somewhere, you do know that in one of the smoking rooms, where, there's taxidermy bear and stuff like that, right? And there's pictures. Well, there's always a taxidermy bear.
There is.
And there's like, wildlife pictures and stuff all around the room and stuff like that. There is glass cases that has some mementos.
Yep.
And you do seem to recall that one of the cases had
An eye patch
a leather eye patch.
from my cousin Harold, who used to like doing big game hunting in Africa and had a really bad run-in with a hippo.
And
Okay,
that's what really
wow. As the keeper, I was going to come up with something, but I guess we can go with that. Harold. Yeah. Okay. It's just
go with that.
It's just a leather eye patch. I'm not going to give an interesting story for it.
You wanted to
No, that we can run with that. Your cousin Harold,
First
who had a
name that came
run-in
to mind.
with a hippo and needed an eye patch.
I mean, all things considered, if he had a run-in with a hippo and the worst thing that happened was then he needed an eye patch afterwards, he's a lucky man.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then it ended up in the glass case because his third run-in with a hippo wasn't so lucky.
Okay, no.
What is-
This is not a comedy game here.
Sorry.
You should know. Come on now. You find nothing. Let's escape. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, you do seem to recall that your cousin Harold's eye patch.
I'll bring it back to the...
It is quite stylish.
And but here you go. You can take this.
Oh, this looks actually quite nice. Thanks. And I'm.
Yep.
I'm gonna try and look away from everyone and take off that to replace it with Harold's Hippo Adventure Eye Patch. So
Harold's Hippo Adventure.
Adventure.
Harold Heinous hippo headband.
Yeah.
So one thing you do notice as you sort of turn to the side, you do feel like somebody's looking at you. I'm assuming everyone else is being nice enough to look away. Simon isn't.
of course.
I mean, we can all poke at Simon while
Simon's just sort of like,
she's swapping.
My plan was to talk to Simon as soon as I could, so.
Yeah.
okay. So as it's going to take you a minute or two.
Yeah.
Because as you remove the eye covering that was laid there that's similar to a patch, you realize that it's fairly larger than the eye patch, because the regular eye patch is just, you know what I mean? It's fairly larger. That there would be pieces of gauze and stuff sticking out from the sides, because it can't contain it all right now. It's just because it's not healed
Right.
at all. Like, it seems to be fairly good, but so it is. So it might take you a minute or two to tuck that in and
Adjust it.
adjust it properly.
Okay.
So now we'll go back to everyone else. And Simon is just sort of drinking some apple juice, eating some eggs and bacon. So he seems to be looking at Lindsay while she's doing what she's doing.
Simon,
Yes?
Agatha was telling us that what caused her injury was some of that, the black ichor or ooze
Oh.
that seemed to come from the slug creatures and from the I hesitate to use the word monster, but it's the only word that comes to mind from yesterday. Have you heard of it doing something like that before?
Not really. I mean, this is sort of a new quantity. We haven't had a lot of experience. We were in the process of investigating samples you brought back from Swill's Gullet. There was stuff you brought back from Swill's Gullet
There
as
was,
well,
yes.
and we were finding out that it is reactive. But all of these things that are happening are really broadening our knowledge base on what this does. Clearly not good. I mean, it hollowed out Agatha's head. Well, I mean, it looks nice though, right? Like, I mean,
Quite quickly, it
When
would
I
seem.
can, I'm just gonna glare at him from that comment with my one eye.
I've seen Battlestar Galactica. One eye can emote quite a lot.
And quite, yeah. It seems to work quite quickly as well. But although do you know if it comes exclusively from the slugs, or is it?
oh, I would take more investigation into what that.
What can you tell us of the slugs? They keep coming up again and again, and
Yeah, I have a
always menacing.
I have a feeling that maybe it's all connected in some way. Your trip to Swill's Gullet, stuff that's going on here, that there is some kind of connection, maybe.
I'm
people
beginning to have that feeling as well.
Yeah, people putting their noses in business that they shouldn't.
Us?
Well, no, I mean you're not.
We have a reason.
You don't have a slug farm or anything, right? You don't have a slug farm, right?
That's a good point.
Certainly not.
Yeah. But yeah, it seems to be quite reactive, clearly. I would say the best bet is from now on to limit our contact as much as possible with
Yes.
this type of stuff. Oh, by the way, while you were sleeping, the cleaners came by.
Oh, Mr. Black.
Yeah. Yeah, so everything seems to be cleaned up. We also took it upon ourselves to take away some of the artifacts from Heinrich's house that you brought in on the truck to put them away for
Right.
safekeeping, so nobody mistakenly gets involved in that stuff.
Good.
Yeah.
Was there much of value? We
Oh, I haven't
ended
had
up
a chance
leaving
to
in
go
a
through
bit of
it.
a hurry.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to go through it because I know that if I start going through stuff, I'm going to be focused. And right now, all the focus should be on Alistair and what's happening right now. So I'm just sort of focusing away from whatever we found from Heinrich's house,
Of
albeit
course.
it's probably not good stuff. I mean, I imagine it's not good stuff, but at least it seems contained and probably isn't causing our problems. And if it is, well, I guess we'll just eat it.
Well, what?
I mean, we'll just wear it, you know? We'll just,
Sure.
you know what I mean? Like, it's, you know,
Deal with it? Yeah.
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 Yeah. Figure it out as we go, I guess.
So about Alistair, then the last thing that we know is that he was possibly taken to the Silver Twilight Lodge.
Yeah.
That's gotta be... We have to end up heading there. There's no... We can't avoid it anymore.
Yes. I mean, yeah. You can't end up avoiding it anymore.
It is the last place we haven't looked, and or we haven't investigated in person, and several clues do seem to be pointing towards it. Nothing of our recent misadventures, but I'm certainly there'll be answers of some variety there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm hoping we can find Alistair. Maybe then he might be able to even shine a light on what he's figured out.
I hope so.
I know he's not dead.
Are you connected to him too?
Differently. I just know he's not dead. If he was dead, I'd know it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, other than that, though, who knows what they've done to him?
There was something that we had done that we narrowed down that he was at least last whereabouts somewhere around this.
He is. He is definitely in that location.
Can we address something that I've been working on for a little bit here? Just it follows a couple of questions based on things I've seen at the center before it was assaulted.
Yeah, if it's relevant, of course. Yeah.
It might be. Okay. It might not be. But it could be. So we took Skeet with us to Heinrich's estate.
Yeah.
However, we did not take Skeet with us. Yeah. He was here when we got back, but he was with us, or at least a very convincing second was with us. He was one that burnt himself. That was the body that we brought back that had this slug inside of it.
Yeah, Simon doesn't seem to be fazed by what you're saying. But
yeah.
But he doesn't really show much anyway.
We had briefly talked in the past about those crates in the basement of the center that we rescued you from.
Yeah.
That there were weird mannequin duplicates of your friend Alistair. We kind of touched on it.
No, of Simon.
They were of Simon, so they were of you. Mm-hmm. Are you willing to talk a little bit more about those?
No.
Are you thinking that all work
I don't really think that's really relevant.
Well,
because what you brought back was a burnt body. But it was a body. If it was the same sort of thing, there wouldn't be.
Well, let me just go with that and say that makes sense. But okay, let's talk about some of these facts that I have here that I think we may all need to be aware of when approaching the Silver Twilight Lodge. Currently, we are looking at 4 different individuals that are in some way tied to this recent endeavor that we've been digging into. Ulrich Fannin was in some way involved in the purchasing of the Church of Contemplation. Walter Corbett came to town from Swill's Gullet. Michael Thomas, he was the one that owned the church and was arrested but seemingly escaped in 1917 with no records of his existence before 1912. And then Carl Stanford, whom, if I recall, is the current owner, or at least is involved with the Silver Twilight Lodge. Now, I have a note here that Carl Stanford, there's some relevant information involving 1918. If that is correct, there is an awful lot of overlap between Michael Thomas's disappearance upon escaping Charleston State in 1917, Carl Stanford being involved in recent history in 1918 involving the Silver Twilight Lodge, and Walter Corbett being involved in both of those instances. We had picked up a photo of... we had seen a picture of which one of them. We gone to a history book. We discovered a photo of one of those individuals. I think it was Walter Corbett. And he looked an awful lot like Skeet. Could be a very.
Wasn't it Carl Stanford?
It's Carl Stanford. That's what it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why. That's why.
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to jump in.
No,
It's just
yes.
I'm pretty sure it was the.
Yeah, I think I
And somebody
missed that
mentioned it. Father.
Simon said he looks a lot like
Yeah.
when he first saw Skeet. He said, or no, Father O'Malley.
Father O'Malley.
Said Skeet looked a lot like.
So I
Carl
want
Stanford.
to. I want to throw out a couple of crazy ideas, see what sticks, and I want us to discuss them before we go because I feel like this will likely be relevant to approaching the Silver Twilight Lodge. Ulrich Fannin has been described to us as looking an awful lot like Skeet. Possibly the individual that went with us last night. Possibly.
And who is now dead.
Who is now dead. We have seen a photo of Carl Stanford, whom currently is said to, last we checked, is alive and is involved in some way with the Silver Twilight Lodge. If there is any more accurate information, we don't have it. But he looks a lot like Skeet. Walter Corbett. There was some timeline research that we had done, and there was something here where he bought the church in 1917, shortly after Michael Thomas, the previous owner, left. Rather coincidental, considering we are following both of them. So, either Skeet is a master at deception and can impersonate 4 high-ranking individuals at once, all involving everything that we were digging into, or he has a number of very similar lookalikes and coincidental tie-ins to people we are investigating.
Or Ulrich
Or Ulrich.
is is a con man.
That is a fair point. With Ulrich's death, if he is also Michael Thomas and Carl Stanford, we may have just dealt with all 3 of them at once. But that still leaves the oddity of how similar in appearance he is to Skeet. Not saying that that means that Skeet is obviously guilty or what have you, but that there is, regardless of who Ulrich was, there is a connection. And that might end up being a problem going into the Silver Twilight Lodge. Thoughts, discussions? I'm just throwing all this yarn on the table and seeing if we can take it apart.
Do we know when things started happening in Swill's Gullet and Skeet said that people, it was almost like a cult was forming there? Do we know how long ago that was? Like how many years?
Actually, yes. The puzzle box was found 15 years ago
Okay,
by Montgomery.
by Montgomery. And he sold it to the general store. or
15
whatever.
years ago was 1918.
So,
Or it could have been the tail end of 1917. It lands
around
squarely-
there.
It lands in our time frame.
So, we know that something major, the Corbett farmstead in Swill's Gullet, was the center of something going on in that town.
Yeah.
We also know that we now know, thanks to what happened here a day and a half ago, that these slug things are able to, when it came out of the body originally, when Simon and I were in the lab, I could have sworn that it spoke. That it left the body and it spoke and it said, "Help me." Okay, so this is just all this all started in Swill's Gullet. I feel like this all started in Swill's Gullet, and that something happened there. I mean, there's caverns, all kinds of caverns underneath that farmstead. We went down into them ourselves. Something started there, and I'm wondering if the Walter Corbett who owned that farm, something started there. All the townsfolk are gone, but nobody knows what happened to them. But we've encountered a lot of slugs. A lot of slugs that we know now can speak
And
can take the form of other people.
or take over people.
Or take over
Hard to
people.
dispute that. Another fact that we should probably put into this nest that we're drawing here is that while Montgomery found the Egyptian-style puzzle box, there's 2 facts. 1, it eventually made it to Skeet's shop, and it was taken from there shortly before our arrival. And also, Heinrich was in possession of a trunk that had very similarly matching hieroglyphics to the small box that we were discussing. Is Mr. Black in reach? Can we talk to him about... Because he took that trunk, correct? Are we able to speak to him?
He's talking to Simon?
Yeah.
Yeah, Simon's like, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. I'll get on the phone and and he sort of hops up and he's like, I'll get a hold of Mr. Black and get him to bring back that trunk.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. And then Simon sort of looks over the table, sort of like, you know what I mean, just as about he's go, as you like nod your head, and he just goes over the table, and his eyes linger on Althea. More importantly, lingers on Althea's shoulder. And Althea, as you sort of look where he's looking, you see a little rat. And he's got this look of finally on his face. Like, it's about time.
He's disgusted.
And he's got his little paws curled, crossed. And he's like, oh, finally getting on the right track, are we? Finally get... Jesus Christ, how many hints do I have to give you?
Well, maybe if you had explained this to me yourself.
We haven't had time to
are
sit
you
and talk
talking
about it
to?
in a while.
I'm talking to Montgomery.
What?
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Call. Again, please be on the lookout for our posts about our Twitch streams. They will not be replacing our podcasts, just running alongside them till we can come back from our lockdown-mandated lull in podcast content. So, follow our page for sci-fi and horror Let's Plays, merch, etc. Until then, our next episode will be Tuesday, April 6th. The game system used today was Call of Cthulhu 7th Edition by Chaosium. Music, sound effects, and ambient track licensed through Triune Films, Video Copilot, and Artlist. You can find all of Twisted Gears Studios' podcasts on YouTube, Google Play, Apple Music, and Spotify. Please follow and like Twisted Gear Studios on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Twisted Gear. Your players this evening were Janessa Coles, Lindsay Zelansky, Zach Baird, and Elizabeth Wells. Your audio operator tonight was Rob Hickey, and your GM or keeper this evening was Derek Snow. Have a good night, everyone, and we'll see you next time.